Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. According to Mother.ly, millennial fathers are spending 3 times as much time with their children as men did 2 generations ago. In 1982, 43% of fathers admitted that they had never changed a diaper. Today, that number is down by only about 3%. Pilot fish are capable of forming such a close relationship with sharks that if their host shark is caught, they will follow the boat and become distressed. To celebrate the bicentennial of America in 1976, a race was put on called the Great American Horse Race that was from New York to California. The winners of the race were a father and son duo with their mule. Princess Leia's hairstyle from Star Wars was inspired by women from the Mexican Revolution during the early 20th century. Harrison Ford would use wood scraps from the production of Model Ts to make charcoal briquettes. He originally named it Ford Charcoal, but the name was later changed to Kingsford Charcoal after the Iron Mountain Ford plant closed in 1951. An okta is a unit of measurement that's equal to 1/8 of the sky. Meteorologists use oktas when they forecast cloudy conditions. When astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson was a teenager, he walked dogs for 50 cents each. He saved up $200 of that money and bought his first real telescope at 14 years old. A team of students from the University of Victoria in Canada discovered remains of an ancient village on Traquette Island. They also discovered that the village was 10,000 years older than the pyramids and that it was the oldest settlement in North America. The placebo effect is so strong in the United States that drug companies are struggling to get painkillers through the clinical trials. The original film reels of Gone with the Wind and The Wizard of Oz are 650 feet underground in a vault in Kansas, among other classic films. When the 1 billionth song on iTunes was downloaded, Steve Jobs personally called the person who bought the song and rewarded him with a 20-inch iMac, 10 5th-generation iPods, and a $10,000 iTunes gift card. According to the World Bank, Canada produces the most waste per capita in the world. Bulgaria is second on the list, and United States is shockingly third. According to the Energy Department, over 80,000 dams in the United States do not produce electricity, and 54,000 of them could add 12 gigawatts of total hydropower capacity. This would be enough to power 4 million households. When the Persian philosopher and physician Raziz was searching for the best location to put a hospital in Baghdad, he hung up pieces of meat around the city. He decided that whichever meat rotted the slowest would be the hospital location. Al-Zarawi was an Arab physician in the 10th century and is sometimes considered the father of surgery. He performed the first mastectomy to treat breast cancer. The Knights Templar invented the banking system by storing people's cash at Temple Church in London and giving them letters of credit for it. In Norse mythology, there is no indication that dwarves had anything to do with being small in stature. They were known to be pitch black in appearance and live underground in complex mines and forges. Ashkenazi Jews who are alive today can trace their roots to a group of around 350 people who lived between 600 and 800 years ago. The United States government will take forgotten money such as unclaimed checks and post it online for the owner to claim in the future. The United Nations projects that the global population of 7.7 billion people in 2019 will grow to 11.2 billion by the end of the century. After that time, fast population growth will come to an end and will inevitably decline. When the sport of basketball was in its early days, it was believed that tall players were too awkward to play. All this changed when a 6'10" center named George Mikan arrived at DePaul University. Mikan worked on his layups with either hand, and his teammates would simply pass him the ball whenever he was near a hoop. North Korea plays by their own rules of basketball. Slam dunks are worth 3 points, made shots in the final 3 minutes are worth 8 points, 3-pointers are worth 4 if it's a perfect swish, and a point is deducted for missed free throws. There's at least one species of timid grasshopper that will morph into an aggressive locust and eat everything in its sight if serotonin is injected into them. They become stronger, darker, and much more mobile than their old small green selves. Oysters in the Chesapeake Bay used to be able to filter excess nutrients from the estuary's entire water volume in only 3 to 4 days because of their flourishing population. However, today it would take about a year. A bank in the northern region of Italy called Credito Emiliano has been accepting large wheels of Parmigiano Reggiano cheese as collateral for small business loans since 1953. Legendary film and television actress Betty White has held the title of honorary mayor of Hollywood since 1955. Betty White also admitted to having cosmetic surgery before she starred in the 1985 television show The Golden Girls, even though the show was about growing old. Before becoming the United States in 1752, the English colonies in America did not have a September 3rd through the 13th because they were transitioning from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. Buildings that were constructed in Philadelphia were not allowed to exceed the height of the statue of William Penn until 1984. In 2019, billionaire Robert F. Smith paid for the education loan debt of about 400 graduates from Morehouse College. 4 months later, he paid for the education loan debts of all the graduates' parents. When it comes to air travel, many people believe that if one person is sick on an airplane, then the other passengers will also get sick. However, most aircrafts have strong HEPA air filter systems that recirculate from the cabin and mix it with fresh air. The Golden Buddha statue in Thailand was originally covered with a layer of stucco and colored glass to hide its true value. In 1955, when the statue was being relocated, the plaster chipped off and revealed the gold. During World War II, the musical instrument manufacturer Yamaha took part in building wartime machinery. When the war ended, they repurposed that machinery to build motorcycles. That's why there are both Yamaha pianos and motorcycles. The city of Shanghai in China contains more people in it than 8 of the largest cities in the United States combined. John Adams defended a group of men who took part in the Boston Massacre and got 6 of them acquitted. Edgar Allan Poe once wrote an article for Graham's magazine in 1848 that established the importance of the dash in punctuation. The television show Downton Abbey was originally going to be a spin-off from the 2001 movie Gosford Park, but writer and creator Julian Fellowes developed it as a standalone production set decades earlier. According to the publication Bloomberg, 1,700 Americans become millionaires every day. Since 2016, there have been at least 3.1 new millionaires in America. NFL Hall of Fame coach Jimmy Johnson and singer Janis Joplin went to high school together in Port Arthur, Texas. Johnson said that she was not fond of jocks because they would usually tease her. He gave Joplin the nickname Beatweeds. This was during the late 1950s before the hippie movement, which Joplin often linked with. According to the Smithsonian Magazine, the average temperature of human bodies is actually going down and getting colder. In a 1992 study, scientists at the University of Maryland measured an average temperature of 36.8 degrees Celsius for 148 patients. In 2017, a study of 35,000 British patients measured an average temperature of 36.6 degrees Celsius. Experts wondered if the measurements were inaccurate, but they were correct. The Kellogg's breakfast cereal Rice Krispies is also known as Rice Bubbles in Australia and New Zealand. Wally Conran claims that inventing the Labradoodle was one of his biggest regrets in life. He said that they were meant to be guide dogs for blind people and not fashion accessories. He also said, "I opened a Pandora box and it released a Frankenstein monster." The grease from the surface of your nose is called nasal sebum, and it can be used to break down foam on a glass of beer with a high head. In 1900, the average life expectancy of non-whites in America was only 33 years old, while whites were reportedly 47 years old. Rapper Pusha T composed the famous McDonald's "I'm Lovin' It" jingle that Justin Timberlake sang during the fast food restaurant's 2003 campaign. The United States military commissioned Chef Boyardee during World War II for the production of army rations and required them to run 24 hours a day. According to Pedigree.com, the human age equivalent of a dog's first year of life is 15 years old when they are still considered puppies. Bollywood actor Amir Khan was 45 years old when he played an 18-year-old engineering student in the movie 3 Idiots. He said the only reason that he did the movie was because it was about education, and later admitted that he shouldn't have acted in it. 2 new species were discovered in the Montreal Biodome. One was a mite in 1996 and the other was bacterium in 2003. Betty Crocker was not a real person. In 1921, Gold Medal Flour developed a warm personality to represent their brand after a promotion for shoppers and came up with her. The last name was chosen to honor a former employee. But that's all for this time. Thank you guys for watching, and a very special thank you to all of my channel members. All of you are greatly appreciated. That's all for this time. I'll see you guys.